Okay, welcome to this presentation on the Bright Beings Academy. The Bright Beings Academy, we're going to get straight into it rather than messing about. Let's get into our presentation straight away. And hopefully everybody can see that. This is the Bright Beings Academy. So what is the Bright Beings Academy? Let me get into it. So welcome. It's a Qi Gong and self-realization school. So what is Qi Gong? I think everybody in the academy knows what that is by now. Qi means energy, Gong means utilizing well. Self-realization is a process that takes you from being a physical human being to realizing that you're actually an energetic human being and deeper than that even. And we'll get into that in a minute. But first, we're going to get into Qi Gong. So Qi Gong, what is Qi Gong? Qi Gong is an energy cultivation practice. Qi Gong is an ancient Southeast Asian practice that combines gentle movements, breath control, and focused intention to cultivate and balance the body's vital energy known as Qi. So it's a Korean form of Qi Gong we teach at the Bright Beings Academy, which is a little bit more energetic than some forms of Qi Gong. And really, it's based on movement. So action, fast action, calm action, and then calm. So there's three really forms that we run in the classes. And the classes are designed to start for the busy Western mind to make it easier for you to get into the practice, because a lot of people try meditation, try Qigong, and they walk away from it because it's too much for them. They can't deal with it because the mind's jumping all over the place. So that's why I love this form of Qigong. That's why I've trained so deeply into it. And it's suitable for almost everybody. If you can breathe and you can move a little bit, you can do it. It's never judging anybody for whatever they can do with this practice, but if you can really get your mind into it, that's when you start to feel the benefits of it. They're so important. So it's a mind-body integration. It harmonizes the mind, body, and spirit through the meditative exercises, promoting inner calm, mental clarity, and emotional stability. So who doesn't want an inner calm mind at the moment? Especially we're coming towards an end of many cycles and everything seems to be going crazy at the moment and emotions are flying high. So we need to be finding that inner calm, mental clarity, and emotional stability. Emotions are your guide. We allow our emotions to debilitate us. They are your guide. They actually guide you to where you need to go. And that's difficult to understand if you're stuck in the middle of or at the front lines of a battlefield with your emotions. But they are actually your guide to guide you to where you need to go and where you don't want to go. So Qigong really helped me with my stress, anxiety, and traumatic childhood. My stress and anxiety actually melted away quite easily once I really focused my mind on my body, because the mind is like a time traveler, goes all over the place. And the body is always in the same place. So if your mind's in the future or the past, your body is starting to think, where's my buddy gone? Where's he gone? Where's she gone? The mind, where's the mind gone? So when you bring your mind back into your body and you start to focus on your movement and your breathing, your stress and anxiety really do soothe. Traumatic childhood takes a little longer and you've got to do a lot more work on yourself, but that can be done as well. So health and wellness focus. Practicing Qigong improves circulation, enhances flexibility, strengthens muscles and supports the immune system, making it a holistic approach to health. So recently I've been going in and helping an elderly lady. I'll get into that later. But using the hands and breathing, because the hands are like your feet. It's like reflexology for your feet is like your hands. And so your hands are connected to every part of your body. So this is a holistic approach to healing rather than just focusing on just the symptoms. Whereas Qigong can do that. It will look after your shoulders or your hips or your knees if you actually start to do some of the practices that are designed to help with those certain areas of the body. But overall, it's a holistic approach to healing. That's why it's called a healing art. But most importantly, I think for all of us who are all aging, whatever age we are, we're always getting older. There's no stopping that, unfortunately. It strengthens the bones, and bone strength is essential for good aging. We don't want fragile bones as we get older. Bones need to be strong. It's accessible to everybody. Qigong is suitable for all ages and fitness levels with adaptable forms ranging from dynamic movements to still postures. The still postures in this Korean form of Qi Gong that is taught at the Bright Beans Academy really stems from Sundo, which is a very, very ancient art. Sundo means mountain people. When the people decided to, when a group of people decided to go up to the mountains because they couldn't handle what was happening in the society at that time. And this sounds very familiar to me, what's happening in society in today's world. It's really getting into a bit of a boiling pot. So it's really about connecting deeply inside of yourself with Qigong to help you actually find that calm and peace inside. Spiritual growth and connection. Beyond physical benefits, Qigong fosters a deeper connection with nature, universal energy, and spiritual awareness. Often described as the path to enlightenment. Enlightenment is when you realize, whoa, I am part of everything. Self-realization is that journey towards enlightenment. So when you realize that you are nature, you're part of this natural cycle. And what's happening in the world today, we're being pulled away further and further from our natural way of being. We're getting pulled away further and further from universal energy, moving into like an EMF, an electromagnetic frequency grid that is not natural. And our spiritual awareness is declining because the conditioning that we're going through, especially from the powers that be, is taking away our spiritual awareness because of the corruption that's going on in the world. So these things really do foster a deeper connection with nature. Qigong does, universal energy and spiritual awareness. So my out-of-body experience, I had it twice. I've looked back at my body, and the first time it was quite shocking. The second time I wasn't used to it, but it was still mildly shocking. It's made me realize I am not my body. And there's many, many millions of people across the world who have had out-of-body experiences and look back at their body. And to me, this is starting to become too much of a coincidence, too much empirical evidence that we are something beyond our body. So why I've set up the Bright Beans Academy is because of that out-of-body experiences. I'm searching for the answers to say, well, who am I? And what am I doing here? These are the big questions. And that's why I've really set up the Academy. So how Qigong works is I need to do something, that feeling, oh, I need to do something. What am I doing? This is bad. My life is really bad. I need to do something. I need to do something to fix it. So people come along to Qigong classes because they find it on the internet or they find a teacher near them. And they can do it a couple of times and they might drift off. But if they don't and they start to feel better, they get to this point of, oh, yes, I'm feeling a bit better now. But again, this is another falling point for a lot of people because they feel a bit better. They do 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 2 or 3 months, 6 months, or even a year. And then frustration kicks in. What? Why isn't this going deeper? Why isn't this going further? Because we hit plateaus, and those plateaus take work and dedication to get us past those plateaus. You've got to keep going at it. You've got to keep coming back to it because this age that we live in will keep bringing in these distractions and keep telling you, this isn't working. Why are you doing this? Why are you bothering with all of this? And this frustration will carry on until you actually break past that. And the majority of your training actually goes to, oh, I get this now. Thank you, universe, for giving me a way of soothing my mind, soothing my body, and becoming more healthy. And that's why I feel there's like the process of Qigong, and when people are either in the academy or even in the live classes, really this is like the journey that they go through. And it's important to get to that point where I get this now and keep working at it all the time. So don't give up because you're worth it. Never forget that your body, all the money in the world and all the technology in the world couldn't make you as you are today. And your viewpoint is you're another one of the billions of people looking at this picture with an individual viewpoint that is important because we need to be able to speak with each other to understand what this world is. And we start to develop that with trust with each other. And that's difficult because we're in a very untrustworthy world at the moment. So then we move on to self-realization. This is another big part of the Bright Beans Academy, is the awareness of true self. Self-realization is the process of discovering your authentic self behind societal roles external expectations, and conditioned beliefs, aligning with who you truly are at your core. So, this is such an important process for you to really start to think about, who am I? What? Because you're not your thoughts, you're not your feelings, you're not your emotions. Who's witnessing those emotions? Who's observing that? And self realization is the process moving back to that observer consciousness that is actually looking at all of this. I was heavily, heavily conditioned by my school. My school was one of the top schools in the country when I was there. I don't think it is now, but it was when I was there. And all the time they were conditioning to me to be this person, this person, this person. All the time I was going, why? And they couldn't give me any answers for that why. And I see now, because it's to put you into society so that you work, that you can work it out and do it properly. And to me, that wasn't living a life. To me, that wasn't being true to myself. And to me, that wasn't being the creative that I actually am. So I kind of broke the mold of my conditioning. And it's important we should do that, which is why we do these brain exercises in the Qi Gong classes, is to break the conditioning of the brain so it becomes more flexible and easy for you to go around. Inner peace and clarity, it involves recognizing the inner stillness and peace that exists when the mind is free from distractions, helping you feel more centered and in harmony with life. This is so important, to feel that inner stillness. So when I was taking my Shimsung, which is Finding Your True Self course, there was 2 weeks of it, but many weeks before that of tapping the Danjon and just asking all the time, what do I want? What do I want? What do I want? And then we got to the pinnacle of the weekend when I was tapping my Danjon, my lower abdomen, the second chakra in some people's practices, and screaming at the top of my voice, what do I want? What do I want? And there was a room full of 20 people doing that as well. Then it came over me really in the most profound way. I want love. That's all I want, is love. And love is everywhere, but we just don't see it. And it's recognizing that inner stillness and that peace that we can connect back to no matter what's happening in the external world of ours, that can help us navigate around the problems that we've got. And that brings harmony into your life. You cannot fix other people's problems, but you can fix your own. And that's what inner peace and clarity really is about understanding that. So I suffered from the monkey mind too. I don't now so much. In fact, I don't really at all, because my mind actually sounds like it's coming from my heart, which I kept, which is what I recommended. The dream method is always to bring that mind down, pull it down, those noises in your head, bring them down, keep bringing them down, and then eventually get them down into your lower danjon. So when you have problems and issues, you pull those problems and issues in your mind through your heart into your lower danjon. It will give you the power, the passion, the creativity to manifest things that will heal those situations, be it the way that your mind, your analytical mind, might not like, but what's best for you. And yes, the monkey mind is a terrible problem in the Western world, because we are trained to go out all the time from very early conditioning at school. We don't ever sit and just be with each other. We're always thinking about getting stimulation. It's getting worse and worse now with mobile phones and computers and things like that. But we don't do that anymore. And really, you look at some of the indigenous tribes that are still moving around the world, you can see them walking along, mooching along. Then all of a sudden, they'll all just say, oh, we're going to have a rest now. They sit down and they just look around and they're just looking at nature. None of them arguing, none of them are falling out, none of them doing anything crazy. They're just being with everything. And I'm not saying we have to go out and live in a field, because that would be ridiculous, but we can have this technology and we can have our peace of mind and calm inside in this world, but we just need to learn what the body is all about. And that's where self-realization is all about, is the body is just a vehicle, and it's actually starting to move yourself towards that position that really helps you find that inner peace and clarity. So the connection to your higher purpose, this is such a big thing. Self-realization brings an understanding of your unique purpose and a deeper connection to universal energy or divine consciousness, depending on your spiritual perspective. Now, I was at a party the other day. It was so I had the head of the council next to me. Oh, there's somebody else trying to get in. Head of the council next to me. I had the head of the NHS for Kingston next to me, and I had the head of racial equality next to me sitting around. And I started talking because I don't care anymore. I don't care what people think. I was talking about the Higgs boson particle, how that begins. That's where energy actually comes into this material world. Our DNA picks up on that energy. It creates us, and we start to come into this material world. But we come from that energy. And they're all going, wow, this is really interesting. Whereas if I'd have done that 10 years ago, they'd have gone, they'd have called the penny of the white coats and had me dragged away, because that kind of conversation never used to happen. And I used to try and bring those things up. But now this is starting to happen for us. So self-realization brings an understanding of your unique purpose and a deeper connection to universal energy or divine consciousness, depending on your spiritual perspective. So your spirituality is actually completely personal to you, nobody else's business. But you can connect with this universal energy or divine consciousness to find what you want, which is what I was talking about earlier. Let your emotions be your guide. What makes you feel good? What makes you feel good? And what makes you feel good usually is helping people or reaching out and doing something good for people. That makes you feel brilliant, right? But what do? We don't. We get bogged down by all this other stuff that keeps hitting us quite hard, but it hits us really hard and makes us think, well, I'm not going to do that anymore. But you should, because I've been badgered all my life. Go, Peter, you're a dreamer. Peter, you're this. Peter, you're that. Peter, and I'm never taking it on board because I'm thinking, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. This is who I am. This is what I want to do. And it's having that confidence to say, I'm going to do this now. I'm going to do this now, and I'm going to do this properly. And it takes time. It takes time to do that. So I look back at my chaotic past now, and it all begins to make sense. All the death of my parents when I was very young, going away to boarding school with the paedophiles, going to sales jobs that were sharks and horrible people there, going into the music business, really doing my best to be the best musician that I could possibly be. And I did get into the who's who of British popular music as a bass player. I did actually get into magazines where I was a named bass player, which there wasn't many around at that time. So I really did actually establish myself in the music business, but it wasn't for me, unfortunately, because of the corruption in there. I couldn't handle it, and I couldn't handle it because it kept on spiking my triggers, and my triggers were terrible at that point because of my emotional past and those emotional wounds still stuck inside of me. Now I would deal with it better, but that was then and this is now. So I'm now doing something completely different, but still writing lovely songs, I must say. But yes, I'm going to use those songs for other purposes, but that's a different story. So a path to fulfillment. By achieving self-realization, you unlock profound contentment, joy, and alignment in all aspects of life, living authentically and intentionally. It's understanding what is happening around you and why it is happening. Because, like I say, you cannot save other people, but you can save yourself. And then you can start to help other people in ways that aren't telling them or nagging them what to do. And that's really subtle as well, because this takes time to actually start to work all of that out. So I now experience pure joy for no reason. Sometimes I could be walking along or just sitting down and going, wow, this is amazing. I feel really joyful at the moment for no reason whatsoever. It's just because I've been doing this practice for so long, it just, whoa, this is really good. There's other times when I'm not joyful at all, but it's what happens. It's like a roller coaster up and down. But as you do more of it, it goes more and more up, more and more up. The drops sometimes can be quite severe, but it goes more and more up. So don't worry about the drops. It's just keep focusing on where you're going, the vision, the upper danjon, the sixth chakra, your vision for where you want to take your life. So what can be your biggest block to achieving self-realization? This is something I've known about, but I didn't really know what the name was. And it's something to do with our ancestors recognized in the Hermetic principles, which is everything is mental. Now, I don't mean that like everything is mental, because, well, actually it is, but everything is mental. Everything on this material plane is mental. It's all about your mental perception. And that's called your self-image. The mental picture that you have of yourself is your self-image, is your mental picture. So a negative self-image, it's a rigid identity. Oh God, this is just who I am. Yeah. Oh no, I can't change it. Fear of vulnerability. Oh, I'm afraid to look within in case what I find. So that's very common, but there's no need to be fearful. There's no need to be fearful of that. That's what the shamanic training is all about. We go through that in the dream method, shamanic training. Talk about those in the dream method. Dependence on external validation. I need others to tell me I'm worthy. I'm not worthy. How many of us feel like that? It's not good. It's not good. This is really a negative self-image if you have that. Attachment to past narratives. I can't move on from what happened before. It means you can't forgive. You haven't forgiven. You haven't done the ancient practices that I teach in the dream method to move on from those past experiences and to look at it in a new light so that you can detach from your ego and actually heal from those positions and actually start to be more enlightened about the problems. And self-sabotaging beliefs. Again, much like rigid identity, I'm not capable of change. I can't change. Yes, you can. We can all change, and we're all going to change because death is inevitable, and we change at that point of death, and we change at the point of birth. So we're always changing, like the night sky goes from day goes into day. That changes. Everything is changing on this material world. Nothing is static. Everything is moving right down to the quantum elements of where we are at this material plane. Here's the good news. This can be changed. Your self-image is not fixed. It's been conditioned, yes, but it's not fixed. And you can be the one who changes your self-image. It's simply a paradigm that can be reconditioned. Your subconscious reprogramming is key to this. So if I were to ask you a question, maybe some of you will know. I don't know. If I were to ask you this question, how long did it take you to learn how to walk? Have a think about it. Can you remember? How many times did you fall over, bang your knee, bang your nose, cut your head, cut your elbows? How long did it take? It took a long time because you need to program it into the subconscious mind. How long did it take you to learn how to talk? Have a think about it. Ages and ages. You have to keep going over the same word. Apple, 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 apple. So it goes into the subconscious mind. And when you really, really do think about it, you can realize that most of the time you're running around on subconscious programming. When you jump in a car, if you drive and you start the engine, you start to engage the gears, whether it be automatic or not, or manual car. You're doing so many different things. How long did it take you to learn how to drive when you did learn how to drive? Some people jump into it like a fish out of water. That means possibly they might have been driving before in a different life. That's a very interesting concept. But how long does it take you to learn to do new skills? It's reprogramming the subconscious mind, and it can be reprogrammed. And these emotional feelings, thoughts, hurt, all the self-sabotaging, all of these are emotional protections against what you've been through. So let's go deeper into the concept of self-image. What is the self-image? It's beliefs and assumptions about yourself. It shapes your beliefs, experiences, and how you interpret feedback from others, forming a foundation of your self-esteem and confidence. That's why most of us haven't got much self-esteem or much confidence, because we've been bombarded from an early age. No, you can't do that. No, that's rubbish. What are you talking about? Are you okay? Are you feeling all right? It was something I used to get from my school mates. Are you feeling all right? What are you doing looking into that so deeply? And it never really brought down my self-esteem or confidence, but it could have done if it wasn't like water off a duck's back. But in saying that, I did actually break away from a lot of friendships to be on my own, because I was just thinking, this is so depressing being around these people telling me that I'm useless and rubbish and can't do anything. So it's really important you shape your beliefs, experiences, and how you interpret feedback from others by improving your self-image, by believing in yourself. And that really does come from self-realization. It's an inner narrative. Self-image is heavily influenced by the stories you tell yourself, whether empowering or limiting. And these narratives often guide your behaviors and choices. So your self-image is guiding you to what you choose and how you behave. You can change that. You can change that from looking at what you're seeing and by observing it, And then, like, as one of my clients used to say, she said, if it's worth saying, say it. If it's not worth saying, don't say anything. Don't say anything. Be quiet and just watch and observe. And then you will find that it will play out in front of you, maybe good, maybe bad, but you're not putting into the fire. You're not adding karma to the mix of what's happening in front of you. Dynamic and changeable. Unlike a fixed trait, self image can evolve as you grow, heal, and rewrite outdated beliefs about yourself to align with your true potential. For me, for instance, I've always been interested in the esoteric world and never really been able to speak too much about it. Now that is different. It's changing. The world is slowly changing. And I'm starting to realize that my purpose here is actually to bring all of these esoteric teachings that I've actually been studying and bring them all into a big mix and big melting pot, so it makes it easier for people to understand them rather than having to go through singular belief systems or religions to actually get to that position. And it's in my I Ching. We did the I Ching the other week, and that was incredible. And it actually said that in my I Ching in the predictions of me. And I am actually also a dragon aligned with Bruce Lee. Goodness me, no chance. Or Muhammad Ali or people like that. Oh my goodness me. So who knows where this is going to take me, but I've got to keep pushing forward to try and get this change that humanity needs so desperately on this planet. Impact on life. Your self-image directly affects your relationships, careers, and overall happiness as it influences how you show up in the world and how others perceive you. So it directly affects your relationships, your career, and overall happiness. So self-image is such an important part for you to understand. It's just the mental picture you have of yourself. Can't stress that enough. It's nothing more, nothing less. And you can change that mental picture. So how does the Bright Beings Academy help you achieve any or all of these benefits mentioned? So the online and on-demand Qi Gong classes, membership at the Academy is actually free with online resources you can join to start your journey. But the best way to start is with a membership with 2 online classes a week, group calls, and other online resources at your fingertips to move your journey on a little faster. Check out the membership options at the Bright Beings Academy website, brightbeingsacademy.com. The coaching and mentorship program involves a package designed for your specific needs. This is delivered using the Dream Method program, which is a 5-step process for you to discover what is holding you back. This comes up again and again, what is holding you back? And even when you've gone through the Dream Method, this will come up, things that are holding you back. But you have more tools in your repertoire to actually realize what is holding you back and how to deal with it. Realize what you can do to overcome these energy blocks inside of you to make sure that this doesn't hold you back from where you want to get to. Embrace what you find underneath your conditioning, because underneath your conditioning is going to be energy blocks, and they are difficult to remove, but you have to keep working on them over and over again. Keep chipping away because it's difficult to get rid of them. I still feel like I want to react by screaming my head off at certain people, but I don't anymore. What I try to do is try and find a way where I can finish any altercation or problem peacefully. And usually I will try to find humility in my responses to that now, whereas I didn't before, that's what I want to do. Embrace what's underneath that conditioning, that furious anger or that I've felt inside of me from a very early age for not being listened to. Actualize the vision you have for your life with everything you have learned. So it's to use your vision, your upper danjon, your 6th chakra, to use your vision to move your life in the direction you want it to go. Use your emotions as your guide, as I said before, and use your lower danjon as the power to move your life where you want it to go. And master these techniques to enable you to achieve self-realization. Self-realization, as I say, is a journey. It's not really a destination, it's a journey into yourself so that you become aware of what you actually are, which isn't this material body. It is just your vehicle for getting you around during this short period while you're on Earth, which is like a blink in the eye compared to what the universe is. They call it the breath of Brahma. The breath of Brahma is, as the breath goes out, we're in that breath of Brahma, which is an exhale at the moment in the Vedas, and it will inhale at some point, billions and billions and trillions of years into the future. Who knows whether that's true? Very interesting concept. So the program is designed to last 12 weeks, which is quick. Most clients start to recognize their blockages within the first 4 weeks and then start to work on overcoming their energy blocks and start to actualize what they want for their life. But the first question you must answer is, what do you actually want? Because if you're not going towards what you want, then all of this is useless, because you need to know what you want in your life, because you really do. That is the key question to this. So not everyone is suitable for the dream method, because it is targeted to find this out and help you achieve this goal buried deep down inside of you, which is actually your profound purpose. So I really enjoy the coaching process, because we go through some very deep issues and using them with very ancient techniques that have worked for thousands of years. I find great reward in seeing clients smile and realize who and what they are, and more importantly, what they are capable of. And we're capable of most amazing things when we actually want to focus on it. So if you're interested in the Dream Method program, watch the Dream Method webinar or the self-image webinar to see if this resonates with you. Both can be found on my website, or just send me a message and I'll send you the link. They are free and there's no obligation to work with me after watching them. So the online courses and resources, there are many online courses and resources at the Bright Beings Academy. You can start your journey for free with Qi Gong meditation and breathing mini courses, but there are many other courses available that you need to invest in, which are on self-image, breathing, Qi Gong, sound toning, chakra healing, weight wisdom, third eye activation, and more. Be sure to go to the Bright Beings Academy website to see what is available. And if you're a Tudor member, you get most of that for free, I think. All of these activities are included when you complete the Dream Method program. So it's at brightbeingsacademy.com. So these are a few of the examples as the membership options. As I say, Tudor is probably the best. John Jay, you get more attention to you on that actual membership. So meditation and breathing online courses, they're the free meditation courses. They're the transformational coaching with the Dream Method, chakra toning, chakra meditations. Solfeggio tones for healing. Sound healing is going to be the healing modality of the future, so it's worth getting into sound using your own voice. Qi Gong and breathing online courses. So testimonials, there's testimonials there on my website, and for the Dream Method as well. So if you're interested in joining the Bright Beings Academy and not sure where to start, you can send me a DM or email and I'll send you the link to book a 20-minute discovery call with me to discuss what you're looking for. That's really important, because what you're looking for could be any of this or none of this, and it's important that it's the right thing for you, and I want to go through that to make sure that it is. And with many of my clients, if they go for any of the coaching or mentoring, I will spend a lot of time questioning to see whether this is going to fit for you. But Qi Gong usually fits for everybody if they've got the mental attitude to actually focus their mind on their body and their breath and want to do this. Because there's no point if you're just thinking, yeah, I might give it a go. That's not really the attitude. It's really got to be the intention. And that's what I say at the end of every class. Where your mind goes, your energy flows. Make sure your intention is strong. I want to heal my body. I want to get better. I want to make this right for me. So I look forward to connecting with you again very soon. Until then, be well and keep shining. And now I'll end the recording.